Oh, we're recording.
What's wrong with you,
Yeah.
man?
Yeah, man. I just seen the word come up recording, Herman J. Moore. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
recording, but we're always live, brother. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, huh? Just getting ready for this game in a couple of days. Seem
Okay.
like they're rolling around a lot, man. It's been a crazy schedule for the Lions, man. How they played Thursday, and then you got to turn around and play another Thursday game before you get that real long break. So
Okay.
yeah, but it seems like it's coming at the right time of the year because they beat up Herm. They need people, they need time, they need health, they need it all right now.
I'm asking you this, man. What do you think is leading to it? I mean, we've seen where there's a lot of injuries that happen at this part of the year. Sometimes we'll see it early on, and then it starts to taper off. Guys start to get injured, come back, and that kind of deal, and then they're there for the long run. But at this point, I mean, do you think it's just the wear and tear? Do you think it's just unfortunate circumstances? I mean, what's your take on that from the injury
Yeah,
side?
right now, Herm, because of the type of injuries they've been getting there haven't been a lot of soft tissue injury. You know, the hamstrings, you know what I'm saying, the pulls, the sprain. It hasn't been a lot of that, man. They've been devastating injuries, MCLs, ACLs. You know what I'm saying? There's been this type of stuff that'll really take you out and everything. So that's why I just think it's just been circumstances, bad circumstances, and man, the Lions seem to be just snake bit off the circumstances with us because it's been bad. It's really been bad compared to a lot of other teams in the league.
Yeah, even though they've had those injuries, though, don't you think that what I've been is they've been able to still play at a sustained level? I mean, yeah, there's going to be some fall off in certain areas, especially if you lose a starter. They're starters for a reason, but it seems like they've done a really good job of having the next players come in and then making those slight adjustments, offensively or defensively, to offset what they may be losing. And I mean, is that kind of how you're saying it as well?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, look at some of the picks that they brought in. You know, Jamal Adams, who they brought in. They brought in K1 linebacker that they brought in. You got David Long, another linebacker that they brought in. So they've been bringing in guys. But Herm, the thing is, can those guys fit in your system quick enough? And what do they have left in the tank? To be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? Especially Jamal. They talking about playing him possibly at the linebacker position. You know, I know that's a change for him, even though as a safety, he's kind of used to playing in that box. But you taking on 300 pounders when you're a 200-pound man yourself. So,
Right.
you know, I just don't know how that's going to work up or how Aaron Glenn's going to scheme that up. I'm quite sure he has a plan, but I just don't see it right now.
I wish when I was playing back in the day, man, I had to take on basically safeties that were linebackers, whether it was John Lynch or Steve Atwater, even Ronnie Lott near the end of his career and those things. I mean, you get these big safeties that are coming down. But now it seems like you got to have those versatile players. The Lions,
Yeah.
when I look at them across the board, man, the thing I've enjoyed is when you look back at the way in which, first of all, man, I'm gonna stop myself right in the middle because I know we got people joining in on this, man. Lo, they love us coming out and talking. We appreciate everybody just coming on. Appreciate that. Just a fan, Detroit Grit, Keitho, always in. Kurt, mile marker 301. Appreciate you coming in, hanging out with us, Dr. Detroit. And I like the fact that they've been about not having to go reach too far to bring in players when guys go down. Most teams have to make those epic moves. They have to go find that player that doesn't even know the system. So a lot of times people will hear a team go get a big name. They bring that big name in and they go, okay, now we've solved our problem. But they don't realize even big talent and seasoned veterans and players, they take time to get acclimated just to where your bottom guys are, because those other guys have been repping the system. They know the lingo, man. They know the semantics, and they know everything that happens with the scheme, offensively, defensively. They understand the good and bad about players and the dynamics at play. And it seems like they're able to bring these guys in, ask them to do minimum. So when they go get players, it just looks like they don't need them to come in and be world beaters. They need to come in and own a solution. to a problem that they may be suffering, right?
Yeah. Well, I think the thing about it, you can see it, Herm. Look at Zadarius Smith. I mean, he's come in, he's been there in 2 weeks, and he's a veteran presence. He's an impact player. And I think he's given us maybe 1.5 sacks or 1 sack since he's been here. That's a talent, but you can see he can't do it by himself. I mean, we brought him in and he's trying. He does an excellent job on the run. He does an excellent job of rushing the passer, but he can't do it by himself. And we seeing that. Man, since Aiden Hutchinson has gone out, which was week 6, we're only averaging 1.7 sacks a game, huh?
Oh,
And
that's a big
think
fall
about
off, man.
yeah, bro. Think about the quarterbacks we face. We really haven't faced any top notch quarterbacks yet. So we letting these guys that aren't top notch buy time back there. You know, not to say nothing bad about them, but C.J. Stroud. You know, you look at some of the guys that Sam Darnold, some of the guys that have played, and they've been able to have some success against us because they got time. So that's still a spot that worries me, Herm, you know, until we get that addressed. And I don't know how we address it. I mean, I guess we're going to have to address it as a complete unit, but that scares me that we can't get a rush on opposing quarterbacks.
You know, I know a lot of people were chiming in and we were talking about linebackers. We look at the linebacker position, and I asked this question, and people can chime in. I mean, if you had to really look at our defense, right, there's areas where you can look at and say there's players who provide, I think, good play and good, you know, solid, you know, solidification of the defensive side of whatever their position is. But then when you look at it as a whole, it's amazing how well they're playing as a whole with a defense that has holes. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's some exposure that comes up, especially based on matchups. I see this defense being solid in its execution, solid in what it's trying to do, the communication and all those things. But there seems to be this fall off depending on if there are matchup issues that come to play. For instance, I think the linebackers have played fairly decent in coverage, but I know I've seen some of them there were some struggles when they have to go out and have to match them up against kind of those pass catching tight ends, right? The ones that are used to running the routes. Yeah. Then we have safeties that come down, and we saw the exposure against Chicago. You bring down a safety, you're trying to cover a slot, and it's just they're not going to be able to compensate like that. They're not going to be able to compensate when the corners aren't getting it done in man and think you can go man across the board and you can man up on these inside guys without having a nickel back or having, you know, some guys that can really run with them. So is it a depth issue that you see that potentially will come to hurt this team? I mean, obviously with injuries that can happen, but do you think there's a depth issue, or do you think it's just a matter of them just, you know, being exposed through matchups?
Yeah, I just think the matchups, Herm. I just think them being exposed to the matchups. Because, you know, Herm, it's not about your first 22 starters. It's about those guys behind it. And we've been fortunate enough to have pretty good guys behind some of the guys that have gone down. And I'm quite sure every team's going through this. Every team in the league is going, as you know, every team in the league is going through this right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how we kind of navigate this the rest of the season. That's what I'm looking forward to. How does he do that? And Herm, who steps up? Who steps up on the defensive side of the ball, you know, to kind of relieve some of that pressure that we're going to feel not having Alex Anzalone, which I think Jack Campbell has done a nice job of doing that so far. You know, getting pressure from our defensive tackles, Alim McNeil and DJ Reader. Now Reader might be hurt. He didn't practice yesterday. Taylor Decker didn't practice yesterday. So now you got to put Skipper back over there again at the left tackle position. So it compromises your jumbo package, because he's not part of your jumbo package anymore. So you got to see kind of the trickle-down effect every injury is having on us right now.
Yeah, you know, even when you mentioned some things that are pretty interesting right there. You know, Jack Campbell has actually been an interesting person for me to watch. I've put a little bit more attention to him, and when he walks up on the line, because he's a 6'4", 6'5" guy, like he walks up and he almost feels a rush position, he commands attention because it's hard to take him on with a running back. But when he walks up, I think he brings an intimidating piece to the line of scrimmage in terms of that pass rush. I see when Aaron Glenn wants to dial up some of those blitz packages, even if he's not doing a show blitz. They're like, listen, we're coming. And they're matched up. You see their corners, they're hard nosed in the man-to-man coverage. And yet I think he's had a greater effect on some of the pressures than what we've seen. Sometimes the pressure is just not getting there. And to your point, when you talked about the fact that I've seen the push that we get from Aleem McNeil. We've seen where, when Reader has been healthy and hopefully he's not going to be down. When they have that combination and they start to come in and they know that they can kind of get after the quarterbacks, there's been some predictability that I've seen in the opposing team's offense, that because of whether it's the score, whether they fall behind and they now are completely abandoning their running game, because I don't see teams that will stick with their running game from a discipline standpoint like we've seen the Lions do with their guys. We saw them get away from it one time, and I think Ben Johnson got criticized a little bit and said, we don't understand why you're not running the football, and they've never looked back. They haven't done that, but I think, going back to like Jack Campbell, you're talking about bringing safeties down. We're looking at, rotating linebackers because of some injuries that we've had there. And then now with the offensive line, I mean, I'm not as concerned about guys that miss practice during the week. I want to be very honest. How, we've seen that guys get nicked up a little bit. It's a short week. And sometimes you just have guys hold out because they're going to play a Thursday night game. Right. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to have these guys exposed to putting any undue pressure at this point in the year. The first thing we're told is this, and hopefully this is this makes people be at ease when they hear about the injuries at this time of the year. You try and really figure out how to rest guys because you're not getting ready to play anymore. It's more mental than it is physical at this part of the year. And it's all about self-preservation, body preservation, the physical side of it. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I know we just came off of the Chicago game, and I want to know, what's your thoughts on the Chicago game, man? I mean, that was an interesting game. I hadn't seen it go that, where they have one half and then not have as great a half in a long time.
Well, the first thing is, man, I'm glad they got a victory on Thanksgiving because, Herm, you know how it used to be with us with Wayne. Wayne Fonts was our head coach. Wayne used to put a special emphasis on Thanksgiving Day. He would say you could lose every game throughout the year except for the Thanksgiving Day game.
Isn't that amazing, man? The mentality of back then, man.
I
know.
Know.
Right now, it's just like I think it's a normal game in the process now. And I mentioned that in a couple shows, but yeah, man, go to your point. Go ahead.
No, but you're right. I mean, but I'm glad it's being emphasized again, Herm, because you know how important that game was for us. Remember, he used to always tell us, you guys are the first guys on TV. You're the only ones on. The whole nation is watching you. And it's a tradition, especially for the people here in Michigan. So I was so happy we were able to get that victory. But, the one person we need to send a thank you note to is Matt Eberflus. Because, Herm, there's no way we shouldn't at least win it to overtime. It ain't no way.
You know what, man? Almost that was crazy. First, I'm gonna just say this as it relates to I know we want to make the Thanksgiving Day game big, and I think it is big. But I'm gonna tell you, man, I think these games, the fact that they mean so much, being that this is a team that is sitting atop of its division, is sitting atop of the NFC conference, and every game matters. It makes those games, it makes the Thanksgiving Day game bigger, but every game has become big because you look at how tight. I was sitting here looking at the NFC North. I'm sitting there going, okay, damn, you got 10-1, 11-1. You got, type things. You got a 9-2. You got 9-3.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going, wow, that is and I mentioned this. I said the NFC North is probably one, and this was about a year or two ago. I said it's going to be the best conference in the NFL in due time, very quickly, only because of the competitive nature. Now, I think Minnesota's a little bit of a, touch and go. I just don't think that's a solid record that they have. I think I've watched
You
them. They had
don't?
holes.
Even with their defense, Herm? You don't buy their defense?
I mean, I just look at if you go by and you look at some of the games, like even Chicago, as much as look at where they are in their division, they've had some really close games. There's probably 4 games in there where it could have gone either way, maybe even 5 for Chicago, to where their record will be totally different than what it is. It changes maybe a game or 2 inside of the division between Minnesota and Green Bay, but Minnesota has gotten away with some games that they're not going to get away with.
But Herm, wasn't they like that last year too?
They were.
Like
that's why they were sitting at home with some other people.
Yeah.
The playoffs has a way, and postseason has a way of making sure that's what we used to say. You get rid of the pretenders, and the only people that are going to stay are the contenders, because you got to play. You have to have it every single game, every quarter. You look at the Lions, even in the NFC Championship game. No matter how well you play, it is a finish. Otherwise, you don't get to go on.
So Herm, to be honest with you, I'm kind of glad the division is like it is. And my reason why, and you know this, okay, let's say if they had a 2-game lead, maybe a 3-game lead. As a player, Herman, we don't try to do it. But you kind of ease up just a little bit off that pedal. You might be going 80 miles an hour. You might back it down to like 75 because you got a little lead. But we can't afford to do that now. I mean,
right.
Like you said, the Packers on our heels. You got Philadelphia on our heels. You got the Minnesota Vikings on our heels. So everybody's clicking our heels. So we got to keep winning. So I think that's a good thing, because these guys, you can't relax. You got to keep winning. You got to keep playing at a high level, because one little slip up, man, think about it. If something happens bad on Thursday and Philly win, we're in second place. And
right.
We know how important it is to get the number 1 seed and everything to come through Detroit.
Right there. These remaining division games are huge. And I didn't realize, based on how close it was and the ramifications that will be there, that they can't take their foot off the pedal. And the other concern I have is, given the fact that they have the injuries that they've had so far, is what will that do to this team? Because you don't get to take plays off. You got to play your players. You don't get to spot your starters. The starters have to go in and they have to really take over games. Meaning, to take over games, you got to go in there and you got to be on it. You got to be a dog. You got to go in there and get it. And if that's the case, then this team is going to have to throw everything at it. Everything from the playbook, everything from your players, your systems, your schemes. You got to show. So, and it's not about holding on. And we know about at this point in the year, you can't hold on to plays, because it doesn't matter at that point. It's like you're going to keep having your iterations of it, but you got to throw everything that you're going to try and do to take away things from the team. But I will say this, one thing I've seen the Lions adjust to that's really good. Hey, and what's up, Justin?
Yeah,
it's good catching up too. Yeah, Justin's my guy, man. It's good catching up with him.
Yeah.
Let's give a couple shout outs real quick, man. To Cubby, thanks for coming in. Heatherine, appreciate you. Got Brian. I think I already said Detroit great if I hadn't before. Jack, appreciate you coming in. Yeah, K ain't press. Know you always coming in there being loyal. Appreciate that. Burgess.
Noah was up there when I went to Hudson.
Yeah, I saw Noah. Yeah, he was up there. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
What's up, Dana?
Crazy clown.
Darcy. All right, but I think, man, for us and Clayton, what's up, man? It's this is going to be an interesting piece. I know Lion fans are excited. So give me your take, Lo. Let's chop it up and break it down for a minute then. So we got these last games going. We got those division games going. We see Philadelphia really starting to get on a roll. You look at their winning streak. You look at where they were in almost different contrast to where they were last year. I felt like they were starting to fall off a little bit, and then they had the epic collapse. But then it looks like they're gaining, right? You look at how they played against Baltimore now. Let's think forward just a little bit. Lions do their deal. They win their division. Let's say they get a bye. Now, it's going to be really down to those last few games to decide whether or not they get home field advantage. They still got to take care of business, so we're not going to just blow it out the water, but it's just hypothetical thinking. Who's the toughest matchup or the toughest two? If you had to pick one or two teams right now that the Lions things work the way they're supposed to, what's going to be their biggest challenge?
You talking about
team wise?
Any team?
Any team. Like right now, you know, if I'm looking at two teams, I still think Green Bay is going to be a tough matchup for the Lions. I think Philadelphia. Obviously, when looking at the fact that they've really solidified their running game, they got a solid offensive line. They had one last year before. Seems like they just seem to have found that missing piece, even though you have Swift, who's now over in Chicago. But I think, you know, with what they have going there, there's a lot of energy and trust. I just came from Philadelphia, and I mean, they're buzzing like the Lion fans are over in the city of brotherly love.
Yeah, my thing is I think, to be honest with you, Herm, I think every team from here out is going to be a hard get. I just think every team that we face from here out, you know, our divisional foes, they know us well. Like you say, we got Green Bay, we got Minnesota and Chicago. We still got them left. I think the biggest challenge, and I think the biggest mark to see where we are be Buffalo. I think how we play Buffalo, what we do with Josh Allen on the defensive side of the ball, you know, I think that's going to be our watermark, just to see where we are at this point of the season.
Well, now, why do you say that? Why do you say that about with Josh? Is it because of
how high
quarterback he is? I mean, but is there anything around him that makes you fear more than just Josh Allen? I mean,
Herm, I like James Cook, Dalvin Cook's little brother. I like him at the running back. They got some nice receivers. They're young receivers, but they got the young boy that was at Michigan State. They got him there. I'm just drawing the blank on some of the other receivers that they have over there. But again, Josh Allen kind of reminds me of Jared Goff from the standpoint of he's making it work. He's spreading the ball. Everybody gets some love on the offensive side of the ball. But we know Josh Allen's intangible is his ability to run that ball. He's a big dude, and he can run that ball. He can extend plays. And that's what gets me nervous about him, especially right now when I said that one of my biggest concerns for our team is our pass rush.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think if I had to pick a couple of games coming down the stretch, I really think Philly's going to be tough. Not Philly, Buffalo. And Josh Allen, because of what I've seen the other quarterbacks who are not Josh Allen, is quarterback, right? They're not the same style and caliber. They have their own different dynamics, right? They have their own different skill sets, but we know how he can impact not only the Bills' offense, but what he does and the way he causes your defense to have to shift, because he's like Lamar. I mean, like you have to play him as another player. It used to be you can forget about the quarterback, you contain that person, you collapse pockets, and you do all that. It does not matter if you do that with these. If you're not spying him as a quarterback, he's going to take off. He's going to run. He will not hesitate. They expect him to run. He becomes a red zone threat. He becomes a short down and distance threat for down and distance conversions. And he causes you to have to always take that in account. Now, and I look at, you know, we go to Jordan Love, we go to Green Bay. Seems like he's healthier. He's finding his receivers. I still am not sold on all their receivers and their abilities, but I know they got a running game that they will go to. I know that when they get going and they start to get you on your heels, they can force you to kind of press a little bit.
Yeah.
But hey, what is that you're not liking about?
But Herm, so I'm kind of the opposite of you. I'm more sure about their receivers, but Jordan Love, Herm, to me, he gonna give you 2 or 3 opportunities to get the ball on turnovers. And with Kirby, with Brian Branch back there, they gonna take advantage of those opportunities. Man, Jordan Love, man, he too loose with that ball for me.
But you don't think you can dial someone in? Well, I go back then. Look at Kyler Murray, right? You know, he was someone that we knew Arizona did not want him, you know, throwing the ball. They felt that the less you did with him, the more you get out of him. And I think you can adjust those packages. Like if I know I have ball hawks in the secondary for the Lions, then I'm going to go over and I'm going to say, listen, we got to get – the Lions have struggled with the quick pass. Went to quick pass attack, right? And when you got running quarterbacks, you force them because they can never home. The rush will never get home. When you use the quick passing game, it forces them to get into a man coverage, or those corners have to come down. Safeties have to come down. Everyone has to come down. Now you know how it is. You don't know when they're going to go max protection. You don't know when they're making calls to go with a solid pocket. And now you brought all that coverage down. And now you're extending time because you're only going to put 2 or 3 guys out in coverage. But now, because they're running vertical routes and crossing routes and all this, it can become problematic. So I think you can adjust a Jordan Love. And that's what I'm saying that makes me nervous in that sense when they start going to the quick passing game. If you can't throw the quick passing game in the NFL, you shouldn't even be a quarterback.
See,
right?
For me, Herm, I'm more scared of Kyler Murray's legs. Like you saying, he's a running quarterback. He can stand play. He can run. That little joker can get out on you. Jordan Love, I ain't worried about Jordan breaking the pocket. I mean, he's a good athlete, but Kyler could kill you with impact plays with his legs.
That's fair.
I don't think Jordan Love can do that to you, Herm. So that's why, to me, I want Jordan Love to throw the ball because I know he's going to give us opportunity. I know he is, but you're right. They so bad.
What about his mobility, though, Lo? Let me ask you this. You talk about you want him to throw. Think he's a mobile quarterback? Do you think he has mobility?
Yeah, I do. I think he has some, but that's how I felt about Anthony Richardson. Okay, I wanted him to let him throw. You know what I'm saying? Let him throw because he's going to give us opportunity. We all know what type of athlete he is and what type of legs he has and what he can do with those. But his arm, his decision making, his accuracy, that's the problem for Indianapolis quarterback. But my thing with Jordan Love is I just see just his decision making. His accuracy is good. It's his decision making that lets me know we could have an opportunity to get at least our hands on at least 2, maybe 3 of them. We just got to make the play, Herm.
I understand that, but I just think obviously being in a passing system, you can dial those in. You can dial in a quarterback that gets a little funky with the football. Some people may say we didn't do a great job of it at times, but you can throw higher percentage passes. If you think about what Jared Goff does, that's exactly what the Lions really do. They don't throw.
Look at his temperament, Herm. Look at Jared's temperament. Compare his temperament to Jordan Love.
But I understand that. I'm not even necessarily comparing the temperament. I completely get it. We target 2 different pieces there. But I'm saying in terms of how do you control the turnover? How do you control taking risks? Now, I know that's mental. With the quarterbacks and those guys, you got to make sure you dial people in. But I think I can also do that in my play calling because I can limit that quarterback to the things that he can and can't do. And then we're also going to limit the types of routes that our receivers are going to run to make sure we don't go into areas that are risky.
Okay, then answer me this. If it's in your DNA, right, why they couldn't get that out of Brett Favre? Think about some of your famous gunslingers, the guys that take risks. I mean, Jordan Love is the guy that take risks. Believe me.
But he's not working with the same thing. No, but come on, Lo. He's not working with the same package, bro.
What about Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers working with a different package too. They were working with different packages, man.
But what I'm saying is he was behind
and different. They were working with different packages, different defensive units, and they were working with different receivers and skilled players.
So Herm, for a while Jordan Love had threw an interception in every game he played in. You knew that, right? He had that.
What part of his career was he in?
No, this year.
This year, right?
This year, yeah. Plus, I think Herm.
What's their record?
They're 9-3, I think.
So would you say they're a risk versus reward team?
But Herm, don't forget, he didn't start how many games? Remember, he got hurt. I think he missed 4 games. So think about what it would look like if he had to play those 4 games he didn't play in. I'm telling you, he's a turnover machine. He's probably still up there high in the league in interceptions. So he's going to give it to you. I don't know where he get that mentality from, but he's got that gunslinger mentality. And he's like a Baker Mayfield. He's like some of these other guys that got so much faith in their arm to sometimes it gets them in trouble.
Okay, so to get a quarterback in trouble means you have to be in the play to make plays. And maybe sometimes you're taking it based on the risk versus reward, and you're looking at the size of competition. So I'll give you a case in point. sometimes you're going to go out and you're going to throw a pass to a receiver based on who he's covered. Even when you're covered, they would throw me the ball depending on who's covering.
Okay, I can see
Right?
that.
You're gonna take risks.
But Herm, so why? but Herm, you got to admit they got a lot more. Okay, because they're running 3 receiver. Like look at us, damn near every play, Herm, we got 3 receivers out there. Damn near every play. You know, whether you consider Laporta a receiver or tight end, you gonna line up like that. We didn't line up like that, Herm, not all the time. I mean, we had the 3 receiver set some, but most of the time it was a 2 receiver set, you know, a lot of the times. I take that back because of Barry. Now, if Barry would have been a regular running back where we had the fullback, then we had the running back, but Barry really didn't need a fullback. So I guess
we went 3.
Yeah, you're right.
So we stayed in trips.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So there you go. You know, East-West talk. We got Jordan Love has NFL high 11 INTs.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not, and then so I'm not going off. I'm just saying I just think they're going to take. I think teams are going to test us, and they're going to test us in the passing game, and especially if they got any type of quarterback in the backfield that's not basically a sitting duck and has any mobility, buys time, and that little bit of time levels a playing field. Even if you have lesser equipped receivers going against more superior defensive backs, that could be negated because you can only cover people for so long. And if it's going to be about whether or not the rush gets there, I think they've been doing a really good job pushing the pocket back. And we've seen them put some pressure. But like I said, what's concerned me is that, you know, teams are finding ways to now break through that initial piece. And I think if our offense ever stalls, you see what we saw before against Chicago, and we've seen against a couple others where teams start to kind of claw their way back over time. So it's the sustaining efforts by the defensive side. And I think, again, I'm really I'm happy with what I've seen with this team. Is there more development to be done defensively? Yes. But is this good enough to take you the distance based on what we see with the other teams that are coming into play? I think yes. But it's just not going to be this walk in the park that we've seen with some of these other teams. You know, it's just not going to happen.
No, we won't be, you know, blowing teams out like we've been doing with a couple of these teams. It's going to be hard. I think every game from here out, the remaining game, they're going to be dog fights, man. They're going to be dog. It won't be no more blowouts. I don't care. Because I'm telling you, I think one of our harder games is going to be the second time with Chicago.
Yeah, I believe that too. I believe that's going to be tougher than Minnesota. I'm telling you, I think the Chicago game away is going to be tougher than the Minnesota game.
Yeah, I mean, I like what Chicago did with that OC Thomas Brown, who they promoted to the head coach, interim head coach. Man, I like what he brought to the team when he took over as the OC with Caleb. Now he's the main voice in there. They're going to play hard. They're going to play hard for him, man. Just from me listening to some of his press conferences, they're going to play hard. So, man, all our games, Herm, like you saying, man, all of them going to be tough. They're going to be tough games. We may lose some more players in there because it's going to be like our old black and blue division. It's going to be some hard hitting. It's going to be a lot of violence going on in these last few weeks of the season.
You know, someone asked me, ironically, they said, you know, what was it like whenever there's a coaching change? You know, when we lost Bobby Ross or you change from Wayne Fonts to someone else, especially when you may have a midseason. You know, when we had.
They shouldn't ask you that. Yeah. I don't know why they asked you about Bobby Ross. I don't know why.
Hey, man, I'm gonna leave Boss Ross alone, man.
Yeah, I bet you will. Yeah,
I'm gonna leave Kevin Glover's boy alone.
Go ahead and leave him alone.
Hey, man, I ain't got no problem with Coach Ross, man.
Okay.
Not now, anyway.
Yeah.
So
not now,
well, not as you get older. Unfortunately for people, man, all that trying to be all diplomatic about it goes out of the window when we don't see eye to eye. You know, we don't have time to be sitting there, you know, playing like, you know, somebody needs to grow up and learn more and know better to talk to people and all this. We don't do all that. I'm not doing all that.
Yeah.
But I'll say this, you know, when you make a change mid-season, and especially given where this team, I think they believe that they still have some open window there with Chicago, because when you don't lose games and get blown out, like Chicago, they've lost some really unfortunate games. Thankfully for the Lions in the division, but not for them. They're not a beat down team. They're not going to lack motivation. You make a coaching change, and all of a sudden they see that as throwing gasoline onto a fire. And then the players will, if they have any success coming out of this change, it's going to ignite them. And I think it will give them momentum the rest of the way, and then give them also something to build on or look forward to coming out in 2025. So there's a lot that can happen in those scenarios. I mean, I think we had that motivation at that change, but so that second game really concerns me a little bit. And then they're going to be at home. Who knows what the weather's going to be, but that I don't think that's going to matter as much because both teams got to play in it. So let's again, let me just say what's up to a few people. Crazy Clown, East West Talk already said what's up there. Hey James, we got your boy James Lawrence, man. Make sure you give a shout out to James Lawrence, man. We just had Trinity, goddaughter, and my little niece there, man. She just graduated. Super proud of her. Jay,
wait a minute, James got kids that old?
Yeah, man. She's got an MBA.
Okay.
She got an MBA, dog. Come on, man.
James getting up there, man.
Yeah, what's up, Jack?
James was a young fella, man. James started to climb that ladder.
Come on, man. That's what you do, man. We and then she's doing great, man. Yeah, she's from down your way, man. She went to Florida.
Oh, she
FAMU. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's good people from the state of Florida, Herman. Jay. Good folks.
She's from Michigan, but and her family's from Atlanta.
But she spent some time in Florida.
Yeah, okay.
Time in Florida.
It's all good, man. We like, man. Listen, I'm on season 26 or something like that on First 48, man. So I'm gonna go see what else they doing down there in Florida. Everybody know, man. I'm always gonna have something to say about that, man. When I get there,
I don't know why. I don't even know why, Herman J.
I'm just saying, man. Hey, man, them guys are celebrities, man, superstars. Y'all always on TV, but. Again, man, we always appreciate everybody coming in. I know today is also Giving Tuesday for those of you who are philanthropic and you're supporting charities. I know myself and Lomas, we have our foundations. We love doing stuff with the community. We love going out and supporting other people and having a very good mindset and unselfishness in what we do. So for all of you that are out there and you have foundations or you support foundations, or if you've done something today to support others, I really want to say kudos. Appreciate that. Keep looking out for others, especially during this time of the year.
Yeah, we need to do that, like you said, especially. But Herm, all throughout the year too, man. Let's not just wait till the holidays and start looking out.
I believe that. I'm with you, man. Just like, man. I just want to say, man, I'm proud of you. We talk about Black History Month. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm proud of you, Lomas, for all you're doing in December.
All right, I appreciate that. It's a couple of months ahead of the time. I appreciate.
No, man, I'm gonna give you more than 1 month.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
We're gonna have to put a Florida month on there.
All right, I'll take it, Herman J. I appreciate the love. Yeah, they got a big fella day. Already said that Thanksgiving was the unofficial big fella day.
I got a question for you, man. You got a key to your city?
What city?
Wherever you in Broward. Where you Dade, Broward, whichever one of those.
Man, come on, man. Don't mistake it, Herman.
Is that red or blue?
All of it's red down there.
Oh, I'm talking about y'all gang colors.
Oh,
hey, y'all gonna have people.
Colors.
Hey, I'm gonna be like Charles, man. They gonna be sending people to come get me, man. I'm gonna stop playing around over here. Listen, all I know is this, man. This is 11-1. Low, 11-1. Franchise hasn't been 11-1 in a minute.
Right, but Herm, we got to finish it. This year we got.
What does it mean to finish, Low? Tell the people what does it mean.
You never heard that I said we had to win the Super Bowl. You heard me say we got to get to the Super Bowl. Anything less than the Super Bowl this year, to me, is a failure. To them guys sitting in that locker, as you know, a failure. To Dan Campbell and that coaching staff, Shillingham Ford, that organization, it's a failure, Herm. You know that. You already know that.
But isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing though, the culture though? Think about that. You're in a situation now with an organization and a team where there's not just talking about we hope one day to go to the Super Bowl. You're being picked to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You're also being picked as a favorite to win the conference, to win your division. to have home field, to be one of those top 1, 2, 3 teams in the NFL. Where do you go from there? It's like I always tell people, man, like when I was sitting at the top and you're leading the league and you're the number one guy, you can catch 123 passes and lead the NFL, and all of a sudden you catch 106 or 104, and all of a sudden it's like, man, you slipping.
Herm.
Right. So where do you go?
That's why I say they got to get there this year. You can't get back to
that's just the individual
championship game. You can't.
Right.
You get there, you got to win the NFC championship game. You can't get back there and lose it for a second year in a row. You can't do that. So that's why I say, that's where you go from there, Herm. The only thing left is to get to the Super Bowl, and then the thing after that is to win the Super Bowl.
Right. And I was looking at some of the comments, and they talk about, man, just the pressure, and you talk about, in the NFL, in any sport, it's ultimately you're there. You have these small goals along the way to get to the big goal. And the big goal ultimately is to win it all. Whatever it is that you do, whatever sport it is, whether it's team sport, whether it's an individual sport, you don't play just to be ranked. You don't play just to be one of the best in your division. You don't play just to say that I competed and we were relevant. It gets to a point when you turn the corner. And I used to say this, man. I would go over and I visited the Giants. Obviously, when I went out there, right, had a chance to see their Super Bowl trophy. I went to Pittsburgh's practices and their training camps because of Kevin Colbert and the guys that I knew, and Tomlin, and those guys that we knew and we have these personal relationship with. And you go in and you see all of these Super Bowl trophies. And when that becomes the standard, it is amazing how you see we used to go 9-7 season. We go 10-6, and these are defined as winning seasons, as a chance.
Yeah.
To all of a sudden saying, listen, once you hit the Super Bowl, or once you hit playoffs consistently, like everything beneath that is a step back, and it's a failure. And I think that's going to happen here because they've had success so quick. They've had success and the fans have been just eating it up to where realistically, how long can you sit at the top?
Well, hey, we would like to,
because everyone guns for you.
Hey, we would like to find that out.
And that's what I was going to say. And that's what I was going to say. I would rather know.
Yeah.
And be able to tell you what it felt like to be Super Bowl champions and the disappointment of not getting back there than to never have been there and say, man, I want to know what it would have been like to play in the Super Bowl or be a Super Bowl champion. I can go to a team like Tampa Bay or Dallas, like you and Eddie, and get a ring just because y'all know somebody over in those places. I noticed you don't even wear your ring, man. Why don't you wear your ring?
Man, that's for another. We're gonna have to save that up for another day. I do wear that.
And the Lions gonna give you a ring, Lo? If they go to a Super Bowl, they're gonna give you a ring.
I already found that out. And the answer is yes, Herman J.
Let me ask you this. So what are they gonna do for like all the rest of us, man? They gonna give us a ring?
I don't know if y'all getting nothing, Herman J.
Hey, so the people, y'all heard it from Lomas Brown. They already cutting side deals on who getting rings and who's not getting rings.
No, I think radio gets it, Herm.
Why would radio get a ring, dog?
Every radio team gets it. The Pistons got
more than the players
when they gave. Yeah, they gave.
My bad. I know they as they like to say down there in the South. I know they throat hurt, right? They hurt their throat, so they need to get rings and stuff for that because they got to put the ice on it, huh?
What in the world are you talking about?
How you gonna not give people on the field a ring, man?
What you talking about? The people on the field.
So I guess everybody get a ring, huh?
The players get one, administrative get one. Yeah, that's how it normally works. Herman J. When I got mine from Tampa Bay, it wasn't just the players up in there. It wasn't just the coaches up in there. We had a whole bunch of administrative people that put in their time. They got their rings. You had the wives in there.
Wait a minute, man. Is that
common? Yeah, my wife got more stuff than I got. And I played in the game, and she got more stuff than I got. So, yeah, man.
Hey, I got Dana here saying security get one. I gotta know if this is my dog, man. Wait a minute, is that comp? Is that the real comp? that's in here, Mike Compton. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Shoot me some over there then if that's really you, Compton. That's my guy.
Yeah. But we got to wrap up, Herm.
All right, I know you got to run, man. I know they got to come pick you up and transport you back over to the city, over the county. You going to city or county?
Man, I'm in the city. What's wrong with you, man?
I know they're getting ready to get you.
Tell these folks when they can see us again and get on off that. Mike,
oh, that's my guy. Mike, we got to connect. Hey, we got to go, everybody. So we're going to wrap up a little bit, but appreciate you all being on here. We got to get Low back to his cell block 6. And
how is Mike Compton your guy? You didn't play on the offensive line. You didn't.
But I played with Mike, man. You better stop playing. Hey, Mike will tell you right now. Hey, we used to roll.
Mike gonna tell you what? What Mike gonna tell you?
Listen, man. Hey, what's up, Deanna? Hey, listen, man. Mike used to roll with me more than you, dog. You all bougie, man. You was hanging out with all the top dogs. Yeah, I went over there and hung out with the people that didn't need all that fanfare. You was rolling out with all your boys. Everybody, if you weren't Pro Bowl and all
Herman more before you start seeing the black.
Y'all just ring with nothing. Y'all been
late for work.
Man, get out of here.
Hey, people,
I have your Circle House coffee.
Listening, WJR Sports Wrap, 6 to 7 p.m. Myself, Anthony Bellino. I'm getting ready to go on. So
Anthony gonna get a ring? Y'all giving him a ring too?
Hey, he's the in-game announcer. He might get one.
All right. Well, y'all go have at it. Peace and hair grease. All right, Lo. Appreciate you, brother.
See y'all. See you, Lions Unite. See you, Lions Nation. Hey.
Yeah, there it is. All right, boy. Appreciate you. We'll start to wrap it up, man. I appreciate everybody coming out. You know, we have an opportunity to talk. You could be anywhere, but you chose to be with us hanging out, and it's much appreciated. Make sure you like our channel. Make sure you follow us on our social channels, and definitely want to give a shout out to CZ for always, holding it down, giving out to all our team members at LNU for help put this all together. And again, of course, all of you for coming in and making this fun and making us have fun. So, but Comp, I'm gonna hit you up. Let's connect. Everybody that's on here, we'll see you next time we come in. And as we always say, peace out. Enjoy this Giving Tuesday. Go do something good. Do something for someone else. Be unselfish today. Much love. Peace out.